Today, I'm showing you the making of some Synthwave on the MPC One with none of the paid plugins, samples only. And if you're watching this the day it goes live, those samples are available at the link in the description for free as a day late Christmas present as a thank you for watching. And after that, they'll go back up to $5. All that being said, let's jump into it. So, in order to make synthless Synthwave on the MPC One, you're going to need a few things. One-shots and key group programs. And of course, the processing that goes along with that, but we'll get to that in a second. Those are the tracks that we're working with. And I've got an alternate version, so stay tuned to the end to hear that and to see how it's made. The kick and snare have been through quite a bit of processing. For one thing, I've pitched them around a bit to get them to sound good in context with the mix and with each other, so they don't have any frequency overlap and phase cancellation. I've got quite a few effects. First of all, I've sent the kick to the ducker first, and then on top of that, I've got the spring reverb and the reverb. With the early reflections set to vintage 2, which I pretty much always use, and a bunch of highs and lows cut. Similar processing for the snare, big ol' reverb. And then a bit of air flavor, doing some monoification, noise, and very mild distortion. Very simple hi-hat, and I played that in with 16 levels set to velocity to get some more kind of human feel, as well as this closed real hi-hat. Clap from the Syntact, cross stick, little offbeat snare, and this tom that I played in with 16 levels, set to pitch. Let's get rid of that. And I've got this LFO'd to pan it around a bit. We're going to see that technique again in a second. As you can hear, this bass is heavily sidechained to the kick. So let's get to that next. Pro tip, by the way, if you're dealing with a multi-sampled key group program, which all of these synth sounds are, if you're going to try to do overall mixing for that entire track, don't do it in program edit, because it will selectively apply effects to each sample, which sometimes could be cool and even quite powerful. But in this case, go to track mix and then start applying effects. In this case, the effects are very minimal, just a bit of EQ to help it stick out a bit better. And then, like I mentioned, the ducker with auto gain turned off. I highly recommend always doing that. And then the ratio set, very high. It got hard ratioed, if you will. And then attack and release set pretty low. So it's just punching down that first note, and that's about it. But then when the kick goes away, it just plays a nice standard part. This resonance bass from the Microfreak is also heavily sidechained. Added some reverb, some EQ, because that low end was just clogging up my headroom and I don't need it because this track is pretty much handling it. On top of that, I love the way this sounds. Let's hop into here. There's actually not a ton going on in here if I turn this stuff off. I've just added, once again, some reverb and some EQ to tame those harsh upper mids. But the real fun thing that's going on is if I go into program edit, you can see the pan is set to LFO, and that just bounces back and forth in your headphones and really helps it stick out in the mix without being very loud. I should also note that if you want that to apply to all of the samples that are multi-sampled, you go into key group and select all, but then probably deselect that once you're done, or else it will lock you into having all pads selected on things like drum programs, which is kind of weird. Although if you ever get stuck with this on all, you can go here and choose current, multiple, and select them. I'm going to leave that on current for now because that's how I prefer to use it. And of course, the star of the show, the JU06A main melody. Genuinely, like, I'm not trying to sell this to you. I mean, I am, but it's free today. I love this patch. That's what I'm getting at. It's got a shimmer to it that just is kind of timeless, in my opinion, but still very, like, distinctly 80s. For processing, I'm cutting a bunch of those lows because we don't need them in this case. Granulator, an octave up and reversed, which sounds lovely. I've got the feedback pretty low. And then a little tiny bit of reverb to kind of glue all that together and make that shimmer sound a bit less harsh. All that together gives you that beat. Let's go into a part 2 though. So much more in like a trap hip hop style because I'm me. So this kick started off pretty dinky, but it has been very aggressively soft clipped, which I use for all my trap kicks. Same deal with the snare. And of course, this kick is also sent to the ducker, so it ducks everything just like this one does. Because you can send multiple things to the ducker. In this case, they just switch out, and so it doesn't cause any weird, inconsistent behavior. Plus, this extra dinky little hat, which to play it easily, what I did was I recorded a pass with note repeat on, and then I recorded a second pass switching between the different note repeat options, just when I wanted the note rolls to happen. If you'd like to go one even further and turn one-shot samples into synths, you should check out this video up over here. And if you'd like some more cyberpunk energy, you can check out this video up over here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with a new video in a little bit.